Hey guys, welcome to the RAW Barbell Club podcast. I'm your host, coach, and all-around good guy, Andy. And today I'm here with my very good friends, Mat and Lady Seeto.
Oh, Andy.
Good. We almost finished the podcast right there. So, Kush always tells me not to put stuff in bad places.
Same with that.
Sorry, Kush.
Ladies always tell me the same.
How are you guys going today?
Good. Been a long morning so far, but good.
And Lady, how are you today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
We got her to talk on the podcast.
We did. After she said she wasn't going to.
You guys suck.
So what's really cool about you guys is you own a CrossFit gym called CrossFit 2147. You've owned it for how long now?
Almost 3 years, yeah. Coming up in March will be 3 years. Yeah.
And how did you guys, I guess, fall into CrossFit?
For me, I started CrossFit almost 8 years ago. And at that time, I was working with a guy who was a CrossFit coach. And I've done a couple of sessions with him in a park, just going through some kettlebell stuff and CrossFit style workouts. And then he goes, you should get into a box and give it a go. And at that stage, I was going to a normal gym, just running on a treadmill. And then he said to me that I went and found one that was close to my house. I gave it a go, and pretty much within the first 2 or 3 sessions, I was hooked on it.
What was it about CrossFit that hooked you?
I think it was more so being coached. Like I'd go into a gym. So my background story was I was almost 140 kilos at one stage, and I was just going into a gym running on a treadmill because that's all I knew what to do to lose weight. So being coached and actually doing other stuff rather than running on a treadmill and learning all these new things. So yeah, that sort of got me hooked on it. And then we started going into more complex movements from the weightlifting side. And me being the nerd that I am, I started reading more about it and just trying to understand the technique behind it. And then just sort of to understand more about CrossFit. You can almost tell anyone that's new to CrossFit, they're always watching videos, always reading about it. They'll tell you everything that's happening in the CrossFit world. And I was exactly the same back then. So just wanting to know everything you can as soon as you can, wanting to try everything as soon as you can as well. I think that's what got me hooked. Yeah.
I want to backpedal a bit. You were 140 kilos.
I was 140 kilos.
So were you an athletic kid or not really? Like what's your sort of background in sport, fitness and life?
Lady laughs at me all the time because when I talk about my past as a kid, she's like, what was that, like 40 years ago? I'm not 40, by the way. But when I was a kid, I was actually very athletic. My main sports were soccer and athletics. And this is what Lady laughs at us saying. I used to be a sprinter. So making it to zone and state level in sprinting. But then for me, what happened, I got fairly sick when I was younger. Really bad asthma. I ended up in hospital a couple of times. And over that course of having to take time off, I just blew out in weight and sort of never went back to any sort of sports or anything like that. Like I dabbled in playing soccer here and there, but it just was never the same. So I was athletic as a child.
When you got sick, like what around that do you think made it so that you didn't end up going back to sport? Was it like a fear of like some sort of recurrence of the asthma attacks, or like what sort of asthma attack was it? Like a breathing thing?
Yeah, it was definitely a breathing thing. So I was in hospital to the point where I couldn't really breathe at all. Like my blood flow, my oxygen flow was really, really low. So I'd be on the oxygen and the ventilator every 15 minutes, just pumping that through massive courses of prednisone, and that's where I put on all the weight from. That as I started putting on the weight, I should say. And then. So,
and for people at home that don't know what prednisone is, it's an antibiotic. Oh, it's a steroid.
It's a steroid, yeah.
And a common symptom of taking that is that people tend to put on weight. Right?
Put on weight, so like a lot of water retention, but also makes you super hungry, so you just want to eat everything inside. And that's what I did. And
it's like the opposite of clenbuterol.
Yeah.
Which some of you weightlifters might be familiar with.
Yes.
Hopefully you're not, but
yes, you don't want to be too familiar with that stuff.
No, but like I mean, that's what they used to prescribe prior to treating things with prednisone as well.
That's right, yeah. So after doing that, I tried coming back. I think my parents were very cautious about, because obviously most athletics is done at the night time.
Yeah.
So being old school parents, they go out in the night air and just sort of, all right, now you're going to take 6 months off, and then everything just spiraled out. And then because I guess I was competitive when I was younger, I came back and I just wasn't winning all the races anymore. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. So I just gave up. Yeah.
What does that do to your psyche? Like, did you find another outlet to be competitive in, or did you just sort of give up on trying to be competitive?
From a sporting perspective,
Just in life.
I sort of gave up on the sporting side,
Yeah.
and I probably focused a lot on the academic side. Being a gym owner was never something that I seen myself doing. I spent a lot of time at school and university just studying and continued to study to the point that as soon as I finished one course, I'd enroll into another and start another one.
And so you both are university educated.
Yep.
So what is your degree in?
So I have two. I've got a Bachelor of Business with Human Resources as the major, and then a Master's in Occupational Health and Safety.
Yeah. And Lady?
Bachelor of Business in Marketing.
In marketing.
Yeah.
So you guys just make up this massive business machine then. You guys are well equipped to run a gym.
Yeah, you'd think
Not
that.
quite, yeah.
It's
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about, because everyone says that to me as well. Like, oh, you have a degree in business. Like, running a business must be easy. Like, do you feel that it equipped you to run your own business, or do the degrees focus on something else?
I think from actually doing the business side, so the books and all that sort of stuff, that stuff we can get under control. But being a very different kettle of fish, owning and operating a gym, there's the membership side, and something that I guess I never fully expected what that would be like. Having to, when you've got a certain amount of members, each individual person has their own individual needs, and having to be across all of those, I guess that's not something that starting business will ever prepare you for.
Yeah.
Maybe in marketing, I don't know. They don't teach you that.
Not even.
They don't teach you that in anything that I've studied before. So I was very, like for myself, I always sort of kept to myself even all the way through high school. So for me, just being out there and talking to people was a big step in itself, and something that I'm still learning along the way.
Yeah.
I talk to people, but it's just going that next level with them as well and getting to understand them and their lives as well. So I think that's the biggest part of owning a gym business. Business itself, I guess everything runs and operates in a similar fashion, but you can't treat it like a typical business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. I guess there's too many relationships at play, right?
That's right. There's a lot of relationships.
I mean, you guys aren't removed from the business either. So like you're not. You guys are both active within the community of your gym too. So it's not like you can just be like, oh yeah, I do the books, I do the marketing, and that's my role within it.
Yeah.
You guys also have you guys have to manage your coaches. You guys are coaches as well, and like that means that you have face-to-face time with these guys.
Yeah.
And you see these people more than sometimes they see their families.
That's right, yeah. A lot of the members that we have will either come before they go to work, or come after work, and they're spending an hour and a half at the gym. We've even got some members that will come before work, go to work, and then come back in the afternoon. So sometimes, work and gym is their whole entire life. So we know more about them than probably some of their family members do.
Is that a big responsibility for you guys? Like, do you see that as a big responsibility?
Yeah, I think sometimes we refer to it because we've got 2 kids of our own as well. It's like, well, we've got 2 biological children, but we've got so many gym members that we could say is like the rest of our children as well that we look after.
And act like children as well.
Yeah, definitely sometimes. Definitely sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, it's always just, we're always there for them. We try and talk them through things. It's not necessarily about training, but just giving them an ear, giving them that support as well. It extends far more from just coming to the gym, do your own thing and leave. And I think that's one of the things that draw people to CrossFit and gyms like ours indoors, Andy. Like, I'm pretty sure that the conversations you have at the gym don't stop there. There's the text messages and phone calls and everything that you get as well. And I think we play a big important part in these people's lives.
And that sort of goes all the way back to what you were talking about of what drew you into CrossFit.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of support you got when you started CrossFit?
Yeah, so I guess if we go into it a bit more, at that point when I started CrossFit, I was married before Lady, so I was going through a divorce at that time.
Okay.
So I had my coach back then was a massive support. I'd spend a lot of time.
And
I
you
was
can
one of those.
name him as well.
Yeah,
Give
so
him some credit.
his name was Russ Teach. He was coach at CrossFit Blacktown, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. But he was an awesome coach, and I was one of those members. I'd literally wake up from home, go to work, and then go straight to the gym after work. And I would be there, no word of a lie, probably from about 5:30 in the afternoon till 9 o'clock at night. I was one of those ones that never went home, was talking to everyone. But yeah, he provided a lot of support for me during that time as well. Yeah, so I think, and that's the model that we try and base our business on, is what we learned through him. A lot of what we do is what we learned from Russ, because obviously Lady started at the same place at CrossFit Blacktown, and that was our first introduction to CrossFit and how a gym should be.
And is that how you guys met then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys are a CrossFit couple.
We are.
Through
yes.
and through.
Yes. Met at the gym after about 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. She started talking to me. It's like at first thought I was the arrogant guy standing in the corner. I'd be just not talking to anyone, being myself, just sitting in the corner doing my own thing. And then, after 6 months, she decided she would say hi.
Yeah, couldn't resist him.
Yeah.
And sorry,
Laugh at that.
I do want to talk to you, Lady, about how you got into CrossFit too. But how quickly did your body start to change? Did your psychology start to change when you started training CrossFit?
It changed a lot. So I think I still remember my very first workout, because at that time as well, not just being overweight, I also had type 2 diabetes. So my very first workout, I was sitting in the corner having to munch on jelly beans to get my sugar level back up, because I almost passed out. I just thought I'd push and just blood sugars just dropped straight down. But it's actually funny, I started on November 15th.
Oh shoot!
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys. Some technical difficulties. It's really hot. Like, how hot do you reckon it is here?
It's pretty warm.
Be probably 30s at least.
This whole podcast studio idea might need to be rethought out.
Let's get one of those portable air conditioners.
I was thinking about that. So like they have them at Costco and they're like $700 or something. You reckon? Yeah.
Not true.
I seen one on Facebook thing, $50.
Yeah. I was really thinking about it because they're fairly quiet too.
Yeah, because you just run that hose thing down the stairs or something.
But doesn't it have to have like somewhere for the liquid to go to?
No, it catches on the inside.
And then you just have to empty it every
Yeah.
now and then.
Yeah. So her parents had got one.
Yeah.
And we used to live in a place that didn't have aircon, so we borrowed it for a little bit. And yeah, just pretty much the hose, you're supposed to put it through a window, but in a place as big as the gym,
Just chuck it downstairs.
chuck it downstairs.
What I'd only use it for the podcast. I
Yeah.
wouldn't use it any time else.
Like sit in the corner,
Yeah. And it'd work really well for
yeah.
that. Do you think I'd have to enclose this better though?
No, because it blows the air out, so it'd be like a fan.
I really hope you're gonna cut this out.
No, this is
this is really good stuff.
So, like, would you guys ever get air conditioning in your gym?
We've got it in the office part
Yeah.
already.
So why don't we do the podcast at your place? I was in Prospect. I could have just come.
Yeah, at the moment we can't access the air conditioning panel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's blocked off. We can't get to it. So
Because you've got stuff there.
because we've got someone that's renting the upstairs space, and he hasn't come in for a bit, and he's got his door locked, so I can't get to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So until he he's there and he just opened the door, I can't get to it, and silly me never got a spare key, so sort of running through the door. Yeah, it's locked off at the moment, but yeah, we've got aircon in the office part of our building, so, which is good because we always have a lot of kids sitting in the front while their parents are training and they're watching Netflix and sitting in the aircon.
Yeah, I really like how you set up your gym, where you've got like that front area, which is like a hangout area, a bit of a reception, then you've got the rest of your gym.
Yeah,
Made use of the space very well.
We were lucky with the layout.
Yeah, I think it worked out well the way that it's laid out. It's actually funny how we ended up in that space as well because we had to move out of a different space that we're in. Like, yeah, just 2 weeks notice to move out, and make good, and that was stressful. That was within the first 6 months of us owning the gym. Yeah, we were in this other space, and then the landlords are like, all right, we had a bit of an issue with the flooring, and then they said, all right, we'll let you guys out a lease. You've got to be out and make good within 2 weeks. Like, but we haven't even found a place to go to yet. So we had to find a place.
So
move.
you guys had issues with the floor?
Yeah, it wasn't anything that we had done. It was, lucky for us, we've got one of our members is concrete and does all that, and a couple of post-tension guys as well.
Yeah.
So they all went down and had a look. And underneath the actual building, half of it was on stilts, the other half was on dirt. And they said the dirt part, because there was a lot of rain, sort of made the floor sink. So then we had uneven floors, and then with barbells rolling around, it wasn't safe. And we said to them, you guys need to fix it, And then they ended up saying, we can't fix it in the time frame you guys are saying, so let's get out. Like, we'll let you out of your lease, but you've got 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you reckon they had someone else in?
No, they didn't have anyone in there for at least 8 months afterwards.
Oh, so why did
one of our members worked next door to them.
Why did they get rid of you in 2 weeks? Why don't they give you a little bit more time?
I think I was hassling them a bit too much, saying that, it's getting really dangerous for our members. We need you guys to fix it and get on it. And I was talking to them almost every week.
Yeah.
So I think they may have got sick of me just hounding them all the time. So yeah, 2 weeks, and that was to find a place to lease and actually get all the documents done on that. So by the time we did that, we had a week to move everything out, set up, and be operating again. That was a fun time. They told us when we were actually on a bit of a family trip away as well. So we were on our way, driving up to Port Macquarie, and they've told us. And it's like, this is on a Friday. So by the time we come back on the Tuesday, we'd already been away for 4 days, and the whole entire time we're just thinking, we're on the phone just trying to search for new properties to lease and booking in appointments to inspect.
So was that a fun trip for you guys?
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. Yeah, the kids enjoyed us just sitting on the phone. We should have been at the beach, but I was just so lucky. This place wasn't even on the rental list. We're looking at another one, but the agent said, I've got one that's just come up. I'll take you there now. They hadn't even put the signs up outside yet.
And that's the place you guys
And that's the place we're in now. So that was.
You said you have like really good landlords now, right?
Yeah, he's really good. Our landlord, he pretty much he's come in a couple of times, seen what we've done, and he operates himself. He actually doesn't use real estate. He uses the real estate to get people in, but then he self-manages it. So he's a small business operator as well, so he understands what it's like running a small business. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out.
So it was pretty good that we could move straight in there. Like we said, it's a good space. We've got the aircon for the kids, and then the gym area that we've got as well is pretty good space. You can fit a few people in there, but fits what we need it for.
I want to circle back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
We were rudely interrupted by stupid technology.
Yes.
To you, lady, just a little bit. When was it that you decided that Superman would be your idol?
Super fat man.
What do you mean?
Alright. How did you get into... That was just a dumb joke, don't worry guys. But when did you sort of start getting into CrossFit?
I know what
How
you're
did you
talking
get
about.
into CrossFit?
I just realised what you're talking about then too.
Fix that.
CrossFit. I started seeing there was quite a bit of stuff on social media about CrossFit that was intriguing. But leading up to CrossFit, I was always at the gym. doing your body attack, body
Where
combat.
did you train?
Where?
Yeah.
Park Street in the city, Fitness
Okay.
First.
Oh, because you worked in the city as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh, you lived in the city too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kickboxing as well, so really enjoyed kickboxing.
Do you miss kickboxing?
I do. Matt will tell you that. But he
not
won't
allowed
let
to.
me fight,
She
so...
wants to fight, and I said, "You're not getting back in the ring."
Really?
Yeah.
So you actually competed in
No.
kickboxing? Oh.
No.
No, they want her to compete.
Oh.
Even still today, when she runs into her old coach, it's like, "When are you going to come and fight? I'm going to put you in the ring." I'm like, no. Like, you can go and do a session here and there, but you're not getting in the ring.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't now anyway. I was a lot more fearless, as I would say, back in my 20s. But now I'm a lot more conscious of
Wait, how old are you now, lady?
Are you a masters athlete?
30, no, 33. Not quite masters as
Training for
everyone.
masters?
Masters 2022.
Not quite a master, but yes.
Oh, you're master in CrossFit, right?
Oh, I'd love to say that, but no.
Don't
Not
they?
even.
Don't they?
35 as
Oh,
well.
is it 35?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, 35 for both, isn't it?
I
35
thought
for both,
Masters
yeah.
HQ had, you know, that competition that they ran out of Norwest and stuff? Wasn't
They started at 30.
Oh,
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure
like,
they started
Are
at
they
30.
doing it earlier and earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Sorry to disrupt you though.
I can't remember what we were saying.
So you were into fighting and into body attack and all
Yes, and a similar thing to Matt and a lot of people who come from a normal gym background, it's why are you training? Like, what are you training for? You know, you might have bursts of motivation here and there, but it's like, what, like, there's came to a point where it just felt like there was no purpose to it.
Yeah.
It was really hard to quantify as well how fit you were getting or how much stronger you were getting because you weren't measuring anything. So that's when CrossFit came about, and I was also, like Matt, coming out of a relationship and moved back into the area where I found CrossFit Blacktown. And again, it, like Matt, was my safe space. And the training part, yes, was fantastic, but the community side of it was like nothing I'd ever experienced. And that's how I got into CrossFit, what, 7 years ago?
Yeah, seven and a half.
Yeah. And weightlifting from there. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't even touch on the fact that you're a pretty good weightlifter.
Superman.
Only sometimes. You had some really good jerks yesterday, from what I saw.
Yes, it's really hard to Superman when the jerk starts from behind your back.
So for those that don't know, what I'm talking about is when someone's Superman, they'll jerk, but they'll jerk to the front of their body.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you just got it in the right place, you can still sort of hold it there. But most of the times, it's not going to end up anywhere important.
I only go by what my coach does. Sorry, Yannick.
And that's Yannick Misfit
That's
from
Yannick.
Shred Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he isn't known as one of the best jerkers in the world. Oh, poor Yannick.
Poor Yannick.
It's alright, he probably won't listen to this episode. So, tell me a bit about how you guys got together. That intrigues me. Because you got together within the CrossFit space.
Yeah.
From my account or for ladies?
I would like to hear both. Was it like, you guys were both wadding, you did a wall ball, you did a snatch, then you turned around, panting, looked at the clock, looked at each other, eyes met across the room, and you're like, oh my god, that's the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life.
Oh no.
Definitely not. From what Lady tells me when she first met me, she thought I was a very arrogant, hard to approach person.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You guys are like the nicest people I know.
So yeah, that's what Lady would say when we first met. But we probably started, like, we'd seen each other in classes here and there, but then we started, your schedule, I think, might have changed. I always trained at the same time every day. We'd find me the same time there. But yeah, her schedule started to change. We started training together more, and then our coach at the time was friends with another place that was holding a comp, and he was looking for people to compete in that comp as well. And it was a team of three.
What comp was it? And what year was it?
This was 2012.
12.
2012.
Oh, so it's a very long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Yeah.
This was at
How old are you guys?
This is when I was like 15. No.
You look at the photos back then, I didn't have grey hair. This was at YMCA at Penrith, and he was looking for a team of three, and myself and another member put our names down. We just needed one more. Well, we wanted another girl in the team, and Lady was actually starting to get really competitive at the kid, so we thought, we'll ask her. And so we asked Lady to do the comp, and I knew that she lived close by me, so I said, I can drive us there as well. But I think that time, for that comp, you ended up driving yourself there. But then another Mick from down at CrossFit Ingleburn used to hold a diabetes ward, so a fundraiser for diabetes as well. And obviously me being a type 2 diabetic before, I thought every time we had that, I'd participate in that as well. And I organised quite a few people from our gym, and I asked Lady to do that one as well, and she said she'd come. And that's the one where I said, I'll give you a lift, and she finally accepted.
Well played.
Well played.
A lift was all it took.
A lift is all it took. But when
Just
you're
some
stuck in the
petrol
car for 45 minutes with someone from Blacktown to Ingleburn,
Yeah.
you get a bit more, some conversation. I wouldn't say, I don't talk that much. So
Yeah,
this is probably the most I've talked all day.
that's where it all started. I remember it was driving to comps. We did so many comps that end of that year,
I think we
and
had at least
it
20
was
comps or something.
developing from that, not necessarily during WODs at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time spent. There was one that we did. It was a big comp back then called Made of Steel up in Newcastle. That was a 2-day one. So there was a group of us as well. We all just went up to Newcastle, stayed over there, and then it was.
I made him do Tough Mudder.
Oh, yes, she did.
Do you not like Tough Mudder?
It's
Is
not
it
like
running?
tasting dirt for a week.
It was dirt, a lot of
everywhere.
mud. Yeah.
And
But
smell
it's
of.
called Tough Mudder. Didn't you know what you were signing up for?
I don't mind the mud. It's the more the smell of the cow manure,
Yeah.
and it's like, am I actually eating horse poop? Cow poop?
Probably.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I mean, I've never done it, and I would like because of the mud pit.
And I don't like being electrocuted.
Ask her about the electric shocks at the end of Tough Mudder.
So there's like a curtain of wires that you have to run through, and it just jabs you.
Yeah.
It bolts, right? And him wanting to protect me,
No.
I just ran up behind him and
No, we're all standing there hesitating to go through.
Yeah.
Because these things are designed to hit you. And
Yeah.
when you get hit, it feels like you're getting punched. So Lady's like, alright.
And you're allowed to skip them, right?
You're allowed to skip them. But
You're
you
a
don't.
bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't want to look like a little bitch. So I'm like, alright, and I'm already trying to impress this girl. I'm like, okay, alright, let's do it at the same time. You ready, set, and we go to run, and she ducks in straight behind me and pushes me through it. So she's using me as a human shield against these electric shocks. And I'm just getting smashed, like in the neck, in the face, all over the shop, and she just comes out unscuffed. You get hit once.
Not once.
Not once.
And how many times did you get?
At least a dozen times, I would imagine, going through that thing. Because she's pushing me left, right, like pushing me side to side like this, and I'm just getting pushed into them, like not even running a straight line.
Do you feel bad about that?
no, that's when I knew I had to have him.
That's when I knew he was marriage material.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, Tough Mudder was a horrible experience. I didn't mind the ice part, that was fine. That's the one most people hate, they jump in
The cold.
the cold. I don't mind that. But yeah.
Right now, I wouldn't mind it. It's
Oh,
pretty damn hot.
It is.
Yeah. Did we do it in winter as well?
I don't remember. October, rings a bell.
October.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of the.
Tell me about the gym. Tell me about you guys would at some point moved from Blacktown to CrossFit Sim Hills.
Yes.
Is what it was called at the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah, so it's gone through a name change.
I did my research
You did?
Yeah, that was back in the day.
when it had a good name.
instead of just a couple of numbers. And he still gives us about that, you know. There's
Oh,
another
our
podcast.
postcode?
No, about our name. It's like, oh, what a name for a gym. 2147. Steve calls it 2147. Steve.
From outside?
Yeah. When we've done the Bundesliga, he's like CrossFit 2147. Yeah, that's it, Steve.
So why did you guys change the gyms in the first place?
Seven Hills had morning classes,
Yeah.
and
So it worked with your schedule.
yeah,
So Lady left first because I've always been a nighttime trainer.
Yeah.
Before I met Lady, before we took over the gym, getting up before 8 a.m. was very foreign to me. So to the point that I never used to do the Saturday class because it started at 8 and that's what time I woke up. So I wouldn't do it too early in the morning. But Lady needed to change schedules for work. So she needed to find a gym that had morning classes. And then, so she started at Seven Hills, and I, being the sap that I couldn't not train with her, so I had to leave the gym that I was at. That was,
That you loved, that helped you so much.
I know,
For the lady of your dream.
it was like one of the, it's worse than my divorce.
yeah.
No, I believe it. I understand. Like I think you guys do too. The like what we're trying to build ourselves
Yeah.
is a place where people feel safe, where people like it's a second home. It's like leaving your family.
Yeah, and I felt so guilty, like the amount of investment that Russ had put into, well, to me, not just me, but to both of us. I just felt so guilty, and like I ended up, like we sort of left it there, and hadn't seen him for a couple of years, and we ran into him at a comp, and both of us just went up and apologised to him. So sorry that we did that. And more so, we've seen in the last couple of years since owning the gym too, and we've apologised again. It's like, we know even more now, again, how much investment as a coach, as a business owner that you put into us, and what that actually means. And like we understand people move on from gyms and circumstances change, but like you said, it's family. Like you see a family member saying they have to go somewhere else. It's like, wow.
I don't get to see them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the first thing that comes to mind.
It hurts, right?
It hurts, yeah. And like we fully understand that people need to go, and that's one of the big things with us. Like people that have had to leave and go to other gyms and stuff like that, they're always welcome to come back and train with us anytime. And I know you do the same thing here, Andy. It's even though I guess it's like the actual family, they might have someone that lives far away, but when they come, they're always just welcome. When they need
It's like they never left.
Yeah. Just come in and have a chat. I don't care if you're not trained, just come and have a chat. Just as long as we're not coaching them. It's supposed to be focusing on that.
So you moved for scheduling, and what happened at Seven Hills that prompted you guys to take over?
So that's probably another very interesting story. So Lady was good friends with the people that own Seven Hills. She was doing some work for them. Obviously having a background in marketing, she was helping them with their social media. And again...
That's ironic.
Yeah.
Do you have any social media, Lady?
Not anymore.
You do, they're just not active on it.
Yeah, I don't use it. I haven't logged in a year, actually.
I actually do want to talk about that later, because I assume that's a very freeing experience.
It is. Yeah.
Back to your story,
No, that's all right. And yeah, so she was helping with their social media and things like that. And then we ended up starting a business venture with them as well. So we were the girl, so Lady and Christine, the previous owners, they started a company took over a company called Clean Grub, which was paleo banana bread and granola. So they started that together and started building on that, and they built it up, and then it was getting a bit much for them as well, so then we ended up selling that part and moving on from there as well. But then one day I got a phone call from Tim, who owned it previously as well. He said to me, I need to have a chat. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Lady was coaching for them at that point in time.
Yeah.
And he got offered, so he's a plumber by background, he got offered a massive contract up near Brisbane, and something he couldn't say no to. But obviously moving away means they wouldn't be able to run the business, and they asked us if we wanted to buy it. At that stage, there's a lot of, I don't know, because Noah, our youngest son, was 3 months old. I'm like, just had a baby. I'm working full time. Lady's like coaching, but she's sort of on maternity leave at the moment. Like, I don't know, like, how are we going to do this? Can I tell you tomorrow? I need to go and think about this. And we started talking about it. And like I said, Lady was coaching there. She was their main coach at that point in time. And she goes, well, if we buy it, then I work for myself. And if we don't buy it, I can end up working for someone that I don't like, and then I have to leave the community again.
Yeah.
It's the big thing. She's been like
About 4,
5 years. You have to renew at level 1.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
So she's known some of these guys for 5+ years, and she goes, I don't want to lose the family. Okay, so a bit of a no-brainer. Let's do it. So pretty much just jumped in the deep end with a 3-month-old baby, and our daughter as well. She was
5.
5 at the time.
So you weren't motivated financially. You were actually motivated by a feeling of not losing what you had and potentially trying to be able to create or build upon what you had in the community.
We want people to experience what we experienced when we started CrossFit, and that community and that love that you feel, like that safe space. Like, I have people that tell me now, I've got a couple of, they mainly do PT with me, but they're trying to integrate into the community. But they say to me it's their safe space, and they feel safe being there, and that's what we're trying to build upon. That's how we were introduced to it. It's not so much CrossFit or training, it's that community, and then pushing people to be healthier, better versions of themselves.
I think it's a privilege as well to be in a position to offer that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I never really thought of it until you said that, but it is. We've got a big impact on people's lives. I think in being a coach and getting people doing things they never thought possible before, and seeing that look on their face. We've got one couple that do CrossFit. They've got a daughter who's wheelchair bound, and she started CrossFit because she wanted to be able to carry her daughter. And now she's clean and jerking more than her daughter weighs, and getting her in and out of cars no longer a problem. So
There's that side of CrossFit where everyone wants to be ripped, everyone wants to be competitive, everyone wants to make regionals, the games, jumping competitions. But then there's the other side of CrossFit where you get a phone call from a potential member who says, look, I just want to be functionally fit to be able to carry my child up and out of a wheelchair into a car. As she gets older, she's obviously going to be a lot heavier. And then it hits you that there's actually more of those kinds of people in all different circumstances rather than those who want to make it to the top level. And that's when it becomes real, like, this is the kind of stuff that you're doing.
yeah, definitely got some people that use it as a sport and want to be competitive, but then I would say over 75% of our members are there for everyday functional, being fit, wanting to not be weak, and just wanting to be able to do things.
Well, that's like Matt, starting off just not wanting to have to rely on insulin just to regulate himself. Exercise is that for him, and it needs to be consistent, and that's where the community and the accountability comes into. Yeah.
That's a pretty profound. It's getting super deep, but that's what I like. I like getting. Do you actually want another beer?
No, it's all right. I don't want to pause again.
That's alright. Probably have to pause and check on the camera anyway. But like that. That's super. That's really cool, and it's great that you guys think about it, because I know a lot of coaches don't think about their impact. They don't think about some of these guys. They think about obviously coaching people, but it's so much more than hey, that lift looked good. Hey, that lift looked bad.
To be honest with you, Andy, if we don't think about it from those angles, it becomes a very tiring job. And let's face it, thankless in most cases. But you look at it from that angle and it just becomes like you just fall in love with the job over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it just becomes more than, like you say, killing and a pat on the back and posture fixing and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Like when you see someone that their goal was to be able to do a pull-up just so they can, you know, move their own body weight, and they've been trying so hard. You know, that's very rewarding as a coach. You can see them do that, or you see them, you know, deadlift the weight. Like when they first started, I had a couple of ladies come in, starting on with our training bars, which is 7.5 kilos, and they're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm progressing. And then you remind them, you've actually got 45 kilos on that bar that you're about to clean down. Remember when you wouldn't get up that 7.5 kilo bar? And then this look on their face just lights up, absolutely lights up, yeah.
Do you think it's weird? Sorry, do you have to have
No.
I thought you were tapping your watch.
Oh no, someone was trying to call us, and it's like, go away.
Do you ever find it difficult when a client, like to jog that memory within a client? Because sometimes people are wrapped up in their own lives and they kind of forget like where they've come from and what they're doing and how they've got there.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? Because as a coach, we're not only financially incentivized, but like Lady said, the incentive for the job is actually seeing that change.
Yeah. Obviously, when a lot of people, I think we're lucky. We use Waterfly, so we've got all their data recorded. We can actually show them their progress from when they first started, especially when it comes to the lifts and things like that. So, remember, this is when you came to us. This is what you said you wanted to be able to do. This is where you started, and you said you'd never get there. Look where you are now, and all they can see is this progress. It's going up and up and up. And when you actually put something like that in front of someone's face, and it's actually real, and they can see it, they're like, oh wow. And then there was one lady, she used to train with us. She was always saying, I just look up to all these ladies and I just want to be like them. And then we've had someone new start and they said, oh, I want to be like her. And I'm like, just come over here for a second. And then they came over to me and we went over to Kath, was her name, the member that we had. I'm like, can you just say what you just said to Kath, about Kath? And told her. And she's like, really? I said, remember when you said you wanted to look up to someone, you're looking up to someone, you want to be like that? Now we've got people that are saying they're looking up to you, I want to be like you. And we're like, oh wow, I've progressed that much. And it just, yeah, that sort of stuff just gives you goosebumps and just wants you, that's what we're there for. Like, obviously, the financial side, as long as we've got enough to pay the bills, we're happy. But yeah, that sort of stuff's money can't buy.
Is this something you guys see yourself doing for the rest of your life?
I'd like to do it for as long as we can.
Yeah. Something that we've got our children who we try and integrate with everything, you know, in the hopes that they are as passionate as us.
Yeah.
In one day, you know, building on that. But yeah, I'd love to. All things.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being a 60-year-old coach. Not that far off. As my daughter keeps reminding me.
How old's your daughter now?
She's 8. Yeah. She likes to remind me that
Is
I have
she
great
into
hair.
CrossFit?
She loves it.
She loves it. She actually does classes twice a week with us on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
She does the workout with Lady. Funny story, when we went to the US last year, one and only thing that I wanted to buy from the US was RAW barbells.
What's that?
They're kid-sized barbells.
Yeah.
They're 5 pounds in total, so
2.5 kilos.
Yeah, 2.5 kilos. So when we were in New York, I had these things delivered to New York, and we carried them around everywhere, on planes and everything. Lady's like, you're not buying these? And I'm like, nah, I don't care. I'm buying these for the kids. So she gets the barbell out. They've got their own bumper plates and collars and everything like that. He pulls them out. I think the thing that makes me the most proud is when she goes, I just want to be like mum. I'm the off mum. So she's always trying to, she watches Lady and, alright, I want to try that. I want to give that a go. She's pretty fearless as well. Like at first she was a bit apprehensive, but now she'll just, like everything that like, we'll give her scaled stuff for some things, but she's got a little barbell, she'll go for it from there. Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch.
Would you ever get her into weightlifting?
If she was
Yeah,
interested.
she's interested. At the moment, she's very interested in the gymnastics side of things. As most,
Which is probably better for her right now.
yeah,
For her to be
Yeah.
able to explore her body and explore her
yeah,
movement.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like gymnastics
cartwheels and
is,
handstands.
you know. But yeah, eventually, if it's something that she wants to get into, then yeah, we'd get her into it.
Why did you get into weightlifting?
Because Yannick and Matt bullies.
Yeah, it's causing
Actually-
Is
stage
that
fright.
actually what happened?
Actually, what
stage
happened?
husband.
So okay, I posted a video 2 years ago now, which
Just Andy that too.
was what I thought was a PR snatch, and then Yannick, who was very gracious at the time, commented on the post and said, you know, there's plenty more in that. And Yannick actually trained with us at Seven Hills
Yes.
back in the day.
Before he came and trained with us at Norwest.
Yeah.
Exactly, before Norwest. And so that's where I knew him from. We used to do 10 o'clock class, and because he was at the running boot camp at the time. So those guys used to, you know, do their thing in the corner, and they used to max out.
Yeah, I used to beat him at one stage.
You did.
I used to beat Yannick at one stage.
Hey, you used to beat Lady at one stage, I'm sure as well.
Nah. Physical?
No, I mean in lifting.
Just keeps it. No.
Yes, touche. And yeah, so he, you know, the guys all commented and said, oh, we should, you know, do a lifting sesh. It's been, you know, a few years at that point. And that's where it all started. He did come in for the session.
So you
and-
came to your place?
Yes.
Yeah.
He came in, and I think at that point he was really getting into weightlifting and wanting to register his club.
He was registered at the time.
Was he?
He was registered.
Oh, okay.
But he was just sort of just starting out. He was registered. He already had his weightlifting club there. And then, yeah, because that was around October, November, I think it was. December.
And then it was January that I registered with Yannick, and yeah, here we are.
So yeah, because I still remember when I pushed Yannick to register the weightlifting club. Because I think for his first while, all of those guys were registered with RAW as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of his like he coached them.
So was
I
he
know
lifting
for-
with the RAW?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
For like the first year or so.
Yeah.
But maybe he joined like he wanted to join halfway through the year or something. And I was like, dude, that's not worth it. Like,
Yeah, wait till next year.
wait till next year, just
Yeah.
register with us. And yeah, like he fell hard and quick in
Yeah.
love with weightlifting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was already a good weightlifter before then. Like, I think I still remember the day at Norwest where he first clean and jerked 120, and I was like, holy crap, that guy's like 2 kilos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing wet.
That child just weightlifted.
I think my son actually weighs more than him.
Oh, poor Yannick.
The second time's been roasted.
He doesn't listen to
He
this,
can't
so it'll be
even
alright.
defend himself.
Maybe that was him trying to call before.
I know you guys are talking
I
about
got this in my ears already.
So yeah, between him and Matt just talking about weightlifting, it was like, okay, we'll give it a go. Yeah.
You never look back. Or have you
Oh
looked
no, I
back?
have very often looked back.
After every comp she looks back.
I'm not a very good competitor.
Okay.
I really struggle with.
Were you good at competing in CrossFit?
It was different because in a CrossFit comp you would know this because you judged me once. Actually.
Yeah, so we actually knew each other before we knew each other. Oh, at least we'd met each other before we knew each other.
Yes.
So at the 2014,
I think it would have been 13, 14,
13 or
All-Star
14 All-Star
at Castle Hill. Yeah.
at Frank Addison.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I judged your team.
Yeah, you did.
And there's a photo that you guys sent me
Yes.
of me beardless. I think I had short
You had
hair.
short hair.
Yeah.
I would have looked very different. I think I would have probably been like 20 kilos lighter.
Yeah, yeah.
back when I used to do CrossFit and
Yeah.
I was fit and, you know, skinny, had abs.
You still do.
Only sometimes. Depends how many beers we've had.
You compete so.
That's it. Yeah, that was, I can't remember what we were talking about.
Yeah, so, yeah, CrossFit's very different competing.
Yeah, the competition would be lots happening, music, crowds, other people competing at the same time. So
You went on a stage by yourself in front of people and judges and
That's
juries
right.
and stuff like that.
that's right. The ratio of competitors to people watching was somewhat even as opposed to weightlifting.
Yeah.
And obviously the prep and all the process leading up to it was very different.
Because there was no prep, it was just train, compete.
But
I'll have a week off because I'm wrecked.
Even-
Not even
Even
have
like-
a week off, you just go back and train some more. and
But
just
even like cutting weight and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that protocol was different. So I enjoyed competing. Well, that's how I met old mate. So yeah, it's all yeah. I enjoy CrossFit still.
Yeah, she'll
And-
still jump in classes.
What about weightlifting? Like, what is it about? Like, because now you've been weightlifting for like 2 years.
Coming up, this is my second year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that's kept you weightlifting? Because obviously you have to enjoy some aspect of it for you
I
to
do.
continue doing it.
Enjoys the training.
I enjoy the training. I enjoy. It is a very mental sport in terms of you have your ups and your downs, but I like that you can quantify your progress.
It's not subjective, it's very objective.
Correct. It's very much okay. I've improved X amount,
Yeah.
and that was what was lacking. You know, back to that first point that we made about what brought us to CrossFit was we were just at a gym, or you could just be kickboxing somewhere. You could be doing a body attack class, but how much fitter have you gotten? How there's no number to kind of give purpose to what you've done in the last 2 or 3 years. Whereas weightlifting does give you that. So I think that's what it is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does, very much so.
Also, that's very much chasing numbers.
Yeah, that's it. I am competitive by nature, but I hate competing.
No.
So
I think we need to delve into that a bit. So you like competing, but you don't like competing?
she likes, from what she's told me, she likes to chase the numbers
Yeah.
and try and get those numbers. But she doesn't like being put on the stage in front of everyone to do it.
Yeah.
So if it's just the training numbers that count, she'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when everyone's doing it.
Like this, the
Well,
goal,
it does count if you put it on the ground.
but you're not on the ground.
No, Yannick puts it on the ground.
But let's talk about it, because this is something I did want to talk about.
Okay.
You, not recently, like a year ago,
Mm.
so this isn't something new,
Mm.
gave up social media.
Mhm.
From a social media marketer,
Yeah.
to giving up social media.
Tell me what the thought process is in that and how that came about.
Look, my background in social media marketing didn't really have a lot to do with it. It had a bit, given that's all I did. But the primary reason I eventually just let it go was time. Time is a resource. And I think I still, not saying that I'm very productive with time, it's one of our most undervalued resources as human beings. It's very easy to sort of just let time pass by without actually having achieved anything.
Yeah.
And for me, it was personally taking up a lot of time. And not only that, my phone, much to when Matt tries to call me, much to his dismay, it's always on silent. And he always wondered why. And, I explained to him the other day that it was actually, I want to check my phone on my terms when I'm ready. And so he never really understood that, but then all of a sudden it became clear to him that anytime something would pop up, natural reaction would be to take whatever attention is away from what you're doing or who you're with to your phone,
Mm.
because that's prompted you to look at it. And that for me was, again, to do with time and attention. But then also now having 2 kids, balancing that was incredibly difficult, and that's the main reason for me, if I answered that.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
so. So that was the reason you did it.
Hmm.
What has been the ramifications of the decision over the year?
Actually, sorry, I did miss the other part of it, was information as well. So for me, having the information of, and pretty much you read and sort of filter through things on socials, and it's like, he's good, he doesn't let it affect him, he doesn't let anything sort of,
I'll forget it in 5 minutes.
he'll probably forget it anyway.
I'm getting old.
but yeah, some things would affect me, and
Like, can you give me some sort of example?
family posts, things that people posted, I would, people project online. They project what they want people to see.
Yeah.
And that's something that I obviously used to do working in social media, was for whoever I worked for, project the best possible light possible for that client. And that's what we do as an individual. We want to project everything perfectly, and it's like, I sort of didn't want to, I don't know. I wanted to separate myself from, I guess, that projection,
Yeah.
and wanted to get to know people for, really how they were. And,
Well, that's the other thing you
Yeah.
told me as well, is a lot of people, like being on social media, you already build up a story about this person that, you might not have seen it for 4 weeks, but you see all their posts. And then you don't even have that chance to talk to them anymore, because it's like, well, you already knew about it, so you don't ask about it. Whereas generally, when a lady asks you what's been happening, she actually has no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like give her one of those old phones we have to dial too. She'd be up for that. But it came back to that human interaction as well.
Yeah.
Maybe saying that part to me as well. It's like, I genuinely want people to tell me about it. I don't want to see it. I want people to tell me about it and have that conversation, because it is a closer connection. But like she said, for me it doesn't affect me, because I forget. I'll see it today, and tomorrow I'll forget that it even happened. So.
Or it's like,
Well, you don't have to remember, right? Because you can look at your phone and check it.
Double check later on.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's like when, you post up a PR, it's like, oh no, that was so good. It's like, yeah, but I failed like 10 times before that win. It just gives you perspective when you really talk to someone about something. And in a world now where there's just a lot of information, there's nothing, I actually don't see anything bad with it at all. It's just, personally, I feel like it really didn't affect me in the way I wanted it to. Yeah, and I probably will go back on once I just know how to
navigate the world.
Exactly. Because I think it's such a powerful tool. Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, that's not to say that you guys don't have social media. Like, you have the 2147 account. Do you run that, or do you run that?
I run that.
Okay.
That's why the quality of posts probably haven't been as
So
good lately.
I create stuff
Yeah.
as well as sending it to him.
Yeah.
And,
Lady creates the content, she sends it to me.
Yeah.
I don't
But you don't actually post it, because once you post, obviously you have to go on there and post it.
Yeah.
So
And
I
then
get
that
an,
opens up the. Because I struggle with this as well. Because I live on social media, and a lot of what we do as a gym, a lot of what I do personally, is all wrapped up in this. So I don't know how to navigate this in a way that I can divorce myself from it. I've tried like turning it off at certain points. I've tried just like not checking it, but it always draws me back in.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's one of those things. Like, I know when I quit smoking all those years ago, it was like you had to go cold turkey, and then you had to not hang around people that smoke.
Yeah, I think that's what's made it. When Lady first, well, when she was on social media, she'd be checking probably a lot more often than I would. I probably check it 4 times in a day.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be uncommon for me to check, and there's like 15 notifications, like from the CrossFit 2147 page or one of those things like that. So, and I try and make a conscious effort of not checking as much when she's around, so she doesn't have that need to know what's going on,
Yeah.
what's happening, because that's, and especially when people are checking through social media and they start laughing, it's like you want to know what's going on.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, check, or someone comes up, check this out.
Yeah. Like, oh crap! What did Yannick do today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's he posted that to? Yeah. But I get, sometimes I get stuck into it, like at the moment, obviously watching all the stuff from
The World Championship.
the World Championship.
That I miss. All that stuff is pretty cool.
So when you say you don't use social media, does that mean no YouTube?
No, unless I specifically search for something on
What
Safari.
about Netflix?
Netflix social?
I don't know. Do you have Netflix on your phone?
We do, but it's mainly Thomas the Tank Engine or PJ Masks.
Okay, so it's for the kids.
It's for the
Yeah.
kids. I actually don't,
Yeah.
that's why I don't check my phone, because it never happens.
What apps do you have on your phone?
Don't have Snapchat, don't have Instagram, don't have Facebook. I've got Apple News,
Yeah.
and that's my connection to the world.
Really?
Yes.
And you actually use Apple News?
Yes.
Because that's probably the one app that I think is like hidden away in like
I
a
use it
fortress
all the
on my
time.
phone.
You know how you can check what your usage is on each app now?
Yeah.
The
Screen
main one
time.
is
Apple News.
Apple News.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really late.
It's like 10 hours Apple News today. How the fuck did you spend 10 hours on that app?
It's all about the news. It's all, knows what's going on in the world. But what else have you got on there?
No, not really.
No, we can't do anything. You do have Messenger still, so people can send you messages via Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's different. That's not
That's
not
messaging
like the
service.
broader sense of social media. That is
No.
like a purely messaging. And I'm pretty sure that's why they have the Messenger app. For the people that have deleted Facebook but continue wanting to
Yeah.
use to be able to use the platform.
That's right.
I think it was about a month or two ago. She did get me to log on to accept all the friendships that you had.
I felt really bad.
Oh
Yeah, because I didn't want people to think I was ignoring them.
Yeah.
So he logged in. And,
Oh, so you got him to do it so you wouldn't.
yeah.
Because did you think that you'd just fall into the trap again?
No, I just didn't want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you judging me?
No, I
I
am
think-
judging you, but positively.
Yeah.
Because I think this is like really helpful
Yeah.
for people every day, especially like people that have busy lives. Like if you look at your screen time, you can see how much time you waste because time is an important commodity.
Yep.
But then also you can see how real your relationships are. Like exactly what you were saying when you were talking about talking to people and seeing where they like what they've been doing. Like you know, I said, oh, you know, someone asked me, hey, you were in China. I saw that you posted like 1 billion photos, and I'm like, yeah, I did. And like then you can talk about that stuff, but it's very superficial conversation. Whereas if you really get into it, sometimes with people and they haven't been following you, you can actually tell them the full story.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, exactly
So
right.
Lady wouldn't have a clue of anything that you did in China. So she knows that you went
Yeah.
and you went
Yeah.
to Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unlike me, who's on social, doesn't know that you were eating bugs and things like
Eating
that.
bugs.
Yeah.
So generally, in truth, you were eating bugs. Didn't eat the turtle though.
I didn't eat it.
I'm so glad. I would be judging you right now.
I had the chance to and I didn't.
Yeah.
I bitched out.
No, I'm glad.
And the century eggs. I think that. See, this is what she doesn't like about social. Now, I know all that stuff that you've done,
Yeah.
but she generally would not know.
That's pretty cool.
But you know, ignorance is bliss, right? You don't know, don't care. But that's not to say that you didn't ask about it. Like when we saw each other on Friday, you were like, hey, how was your trip to China? And we started talking about, I mean, we didn't have much time because it was busy. Like there was so much going on Friday, but yeah, like I agree. I mean, that's why stuff like this is really cool. I think this is part of social media still. But like how often do we get to sit down for however long and actually talk about this stuff?
Yeah.
That's right.
Off the mark.
Yeah, I know.
You talked more than you thought you
I know, I actually forgot we were recording for a second.
That's good though, right? That's what you
Yeah, I hope I
want.
haven't said anything inappropriate, but yeah.
Nothing inappropriate.
No, I'll listen to some of it. you're fine.
I think you guys did really well. And I think this is a good time to probably end it. Finish up.
Yeah, cool.
Where can people find you? Where can people find you, Jim?
So, obviously, 7 Hills, 2147 is the postcode.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, why'd you change the name to CrossFit 2147 from 7 Hill?
It's a change of ownership.
yeah, change of ownership and the
Because you would have had to re-register your affiliate then, though, right?
yeah, that's right. So one of the old coaches, because obviously at level 1, the owners,
Oh, the coaches own the affiliate?
or not necessarily the coaches, if one of the owners has a level 1,
Oh, yeah.
you have to be level 1 certified.
Yeah.
And at that stage, when the 7 Hills first started, the owners, it was co-owned,
Yeah.
and one of the owners were bought out, and then they had to get a new affiliate. So he goes, no, I want to keep the name just in case. I don't know unless he's moving to Queensland to be CrossFit 7 Hills in Queensland, but he wanted to keep the affiliate name.
Yeah.
So they had to re-register, so they changed it to 2147.
Oh, so you guys didn't change your name?
No, we didn't.
No.
It was already 2147.
No, we took over as 2147.
I see. I always thought that you guys changed your name.
Oh,
from
no,
7
no.
Hills to 2147.
No, we probably, I don't know if we changed the name to something else.
Yeah, probably.
Have you thought about changing the name now?
Again?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's just a
You
whole
could change
heap
it
of
to CrossFit 2147.
hyphen.
I guess it's like 2159, so like people might think
Yeah.
something like that.
2147.
Mm.
It's funny when you see at CrossFit comps the amount of postcodes that they use in CrossFit affiliations.
Anywhere in the world, you can't have the same name. So even if
Yeah.
we've got a place in America, but in Australia you want to call it the same thing, you can't.
Mm.
So now they're up to 4,000 affiliates or something like that.
But they are getting laxer. Because I know there's a CrossFit gym that opened up in Richmond. I think it's called CrossFit Elite.
Mm.
Yeah.
But then there's like an Elite CrossFit in America.
Oh.
Let's see how it's CrossFit every, and then every CrossFit.
Yeah, so it's slightly different.
Slightly different.
Oh, so
But before they would knock that back.
Yeah.
is that because they're in different countries as well?
Because I remember when they were applying for the 2147, this wasn't the first name choice of it. You have to send 3 off to them.
Yeah.
We sent off the first 3, because we're helping them with that at that stage. And they come back and said, no, you can't have any of those 3. Send off another 3, no, you can't have those.
Mm.
So we'll just go with the postcode.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. But it does help. I mean, from an SEO point of view,
Mm.
there's still value in that name, right? You've got CrossFit and your postcode.
Yeah.
7 Hills would have been better, I guess, if you're staying in the
Yeah.
7 Hills
Then again,
area.
also not having your suburb name is probably a good idea if you want to
Move somewhere.
move. So when we had that unfortunate incident where we had to move out of that place and had 2 weeks, we were very limited to what was available in 2147 postcode.
Yeah.
Whereas something in the next suburb over came up, but we couldn't because that was a 2146 postcode, so we couldn't go there.
So you actually didn't. See, I would have just moved and been like,
Yeah, because CrossFit
2146
CrossFit
/
Blacktown, where we started, was actually in Glendenning.
Yeah. Well,
So-
Norwest is in McGrath's Hill
Oh, there you
and
go.
in Dural or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still northwest Sydney.
Yeah, but that's not what Norwest means.
No.
right?
Yeah.
But a lot of gyms go through that.
Yeah.
CrossFit Sydney is the luckiest one because they can be anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what you want to sort of go for is, if you're going to start an affiliate, try and go for a name that's not associated with the place.
Mm.
So if you do need to move where you want to, like if you want to pack up and say go live the high life in Queensland or near the beach and just take your affiliate name with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupt you. So people can find you at CrossFit 2147,
Yep.
which is your gym, and on social media, where can they find you?
Same CrossFit 2147. That's Facebook. What's that Instagram? CrossFit _2147. Yeah. And that's it. Social media. Yeah.
And guys, if you are in the 7 Hills area, these guys own an amazing facility. They're really knowledgeable coaches. If you listen to the podcast, you know that they actually do care about you. They're just amazing people, and I really implore you guys to go check them out.
Yeah.
And guys, you can find RAW Barbell Club and Mat Lady on all social media. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube.
We don't know how to use
We even have a Musical.ly.
Wow. What is Musical.ly?
We'll talk about it after the podcast.
Yeah.
But you can find us everywhere. Guys, make sure you join our free advice group. So that's Strength Training Tips on Facebook, where if you ask a question, we'll answer it. If you need help with your training, we'll help you out. Form checks, anything you want. We're there to help people out. And if you like this episode, if you like Lady and Matt, make sure to share this podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Thank you all so much for listening. I will see you guys maybe next week, depending if we're back or not by that time. All right.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
I have a feeling that stopped recording.
But
Yeah.
the audio is recording?
The audio recorded.
That's all right.
Hey, don't when we come back on board,